There comes a time in every person's life when something has to die, and most people, they avoid it, they fight it. They cling to the old, but listen carefully, the version of you that got you here cannot take you where you're going, that you've been dragging the corpse of your old identity through every failure, every fake smile, every missed opportunity, and you wonder why life isn't changing. The truth, you've been loyal to your limitations, and that loyalty must end. You see, comfort is a coffin that it's padded, it's warm, it's safe, but it's still a coffin that you're not stuck, you're just addicted to who you used to be, and here's the harsh reality most won't say, the old you is in the way that you've been told, just be yourself, haven't you? That's the most dangerous advice you can follow when you're still being someone created by trauma, excuses, and survival. The real you, he or she is buried beneath the ego that fears rejection, the habits that numb your pain, and the lies you tell yourself to avoid change. This is just how I am. No, that's how you trained yourself to be. Let me ask you, are you ready to kill the version of you that always gives up, that avoids conflict, avoids growth, avoids responsibility? Because that version is your enemy, and here's where the dark truth creeps in. Your mind protects your identity. Even if it's toxic, your brain doesn't want success. It wants certainty that it would rather you stay broke and miserable. As long as it's familiar that that's why you self-sabotage, that that's why you ghost opportunities, that that's why you never finish anything. Because your old identity, that voice that says, who are you to be great? It wants to live, and it lives through your fear, but the snake that refuses to shed its skin, dies. Transformation is violent, that it's not pretty, that it's not gentle, that it's not easy. You will have to kill comfort, slay your distractions, ember your excuses. You can't negotiate with the version of you that loves sleep more than sacrifice. That version does not deserve to survive. You've been looking for motivation. But you don't need motivation, you need a funeral. A funeral for the version of you that procrastinates, craves approval, chases validation, sits in silence instead of speaking their truth, scrolls instead of building, quits instead of conquering. Bury that version, dig the grave with your discipline, throw the dirt with your decisions, and walk away with your new name carved in stone, because if you don't kill your old self, it will kill your dreams, and I promise you, it's either you, or him. The choice is brutal, the choice is simple, and the choice is now. Your old self must die for the new one to rise. This section dives deeper into the internal psychological war, how to confront the slave mindset and unlock power by turning your pain, betrayal, and fear into fire. Let's be honest, the biggest war you'll ever fight won't be against society, it won't be against your enemies, it won't even be against your past. The real war is inside you, because within you, right now, are two versions of yourself, the slave who obeys fear, comfort, and external approval, and the master who wants to rise, lead, and dominate. And let me tell you, only one of them walks out alive. You think your enemy is the world. No, your enemy is that voice in your head that says, stay quiet. Stay safe. Don't try. What if they laugh? What if you fail? That's the voice of the slave, the programmed, fearful, fragile version of you. You've been trained since childhood to obey that voice. Fear pain. Avoid rejection. Seek comfort. But comfort is a leash, and you've been wearing it your whole life. The inner slave is afraid to look stupid, so you never speak your mind. The inner slave is afraid of failure, so you never try anything new. The inner slave wants everyone to like him, so he becomes nothing. You can't be powerful and pleasing at the same time. Read that again. You can't lead your life while living like a prisoner of other people's opinions. Now listen carefully. Pain is not your enemy. In fact, pain is your gateway to power. Every betrayal, every setback, every humiliation was a tool handed to you, but instead of using it to sharpen your edge, you let it soften your will. You weren't rejected. You were redirected. You weren't broken. You were built. You weren't abandoned. You were unchained. You've been taught to run from pain. But what if pain isn't there to destroy you? What if it's there to wake you the hell up? There's a part of you that doesn't care about opinions. A part of you that's cold, focused, relentless. That's the inner king. The inner warrior. That's the part of you that's been locked in a cage while your weaker self made all the decisions. The version of you that skips workouts, makes excuses, ghosts opportunities, settles for average, numbs with dopamine instead of grinding for freedom. That's the slave talking. And he's terrified of being dethroned. Let me ask you something. What's one thing in your life you know you should be doing, but you keep avoiding? That thing is your mirror, because every time you skip it, ignore it, hide from it, you reinforce the slave identity, and every time you face it, lean into it, execute anyway, you grow the master identity. Here's the twist most people miss: you don't need more confidence. You need more betrayal. Betrayal of your weaker self. Let that version of you feel betrayed, let him cry, let him panic, because the master version of you doesn't apologize for being powerful. He doesn't ask for permission to rise. He doesn't wait to feel ready. He doesn't beg for the world to validate him. He commands it. Discipline is divine. When you choose pain over leisure, you build respect for yourself, and when you respect yourself deeply, you become unstoppable. So now, right now, you need to make a decision. Who's in charge? The slave, the scared version of you who just wants to be liked, or the master, the dark, dangerous, driven force inside you who was born to lead? You already know the answer. Stop feeding the slave, starve his habits, silence his voice, break his chains, because every time you obey fear, you empower the wrong side. But every time you stand up, every time you walk through fear instead of around it, every time you say no to your old self, you take back your crown. The war is not out there. It's right here, right now, inside you, and every second you delay, the slave wins. But if you move now, if you act while it's hard, if you kill the weaker self before he kills your future, you become a force no one can stop. Your old self must die for the new one to rise. This section is where the ritual of rebirth begins. We shift from internal war to rebuilding, using routines, dark psychology, and high-performance strategies to construct the version of yourself that commands power, respect, and purpose. Rebuilding the warrior. Rituals for rebirth. So, the old self is dead. Now what? Most people stop here. They destroy, but they don't rebuild. They break the chains, but they never forge the sword. You've won the war within. Now it's time to rise as the new version of you. But here's what they don't tell you. You don't become your new self by thinking differently. You become your new self by doing differently, relentlessly, every single day. Let's make this clear. Rebirth is not a mindset. It's a ritual. Rituals are what transform amateurs into warriors, losers into leaders, daydreamers into dominators. And these rituals must be brutal, uncompromising, unapologetic, because your new self doesn't just need energy. It needs structure. You're building a machine, a weapon, a living empire out of blood, sweat, and non-negotiable habits. Let's start with the most critical one, your mornings. If you wake up reacting to life, scrolling, snoozing, delaying, you're still loyal to the old self. Winners don't wait to feel inspired. They act out of command. So you must program your mornings like a soldier. Wake up with intention, cold water, discomfort first, no phone for the first 60 minutes, movement, break the body to activate the mind, silence or focused input, journal, read, meditate, a plan of war for the day, with objectives and execution windows. Your morning must be a ritual of violence against laziness. But that's just the start. You also need discipline cycles throughout your day. That means time blocking with zero tolerance for distractions, mental focus rituals, tracking wins and failures. DIY, repetition of high-value behavior until it becomes unconscious. You're not managing time. You're managing energy, intention, and identity. Every moment you're either feeding the new self or feeding the old one in disguise. Here's a truth from dark psychology most never understand. Behavior creates belief, not the other way around. If you wait to feel confident before you act, you'll be waiting for eternity. But if you act before you're ready, over and over, your mind rewires itself to see you as powerful. That's how confidence is born. That's how transformation sticks. And yes, it's going to feel fake at first, because you're killing the imposter inside. You've worn the identity of the weak self for so long that wearing strength will feel like a lie, until it becomes your skin. But don't stop. Don't let discomfort be your compass. Let principle be your compass. Now let's go deeper. You need to write your new commandments. That's right. Rules that are non-negotiable. These are your internal laws. Your warrior code. Here's an example. I never negotiate with weakness. I speak truth, even when it costs me comfort. I finish what I start. Always write your own. Recite them every morning, burn them into your subconscious, because the world will try to seduce you back into your old self, and you need a firewall. Let's talk about dopamine. You've been trained to chase it through junk, scrolling, porn, sugar, gossip, mindless comfort. These loops destroy focus. They steal your edge. The new you must control dopamine, not be controlled by it. Create reward systems for discipline. Earn your screen time, earn your food, earn your rest, turn your entire day into a system of earned pleasure. That's how you rewire desire. Here's the paradox: the more you suffer on purpose, the less you suffer by accident. Your new self isn't just born through effort. He's born through pain with direction. You're not avoiding pain anymore. You're hunting it. You're using it as a sharpening stone. Every morning you wake up earlier than you want to. Every time you do the rep your body begs you to skip. Every second you work when your friends are partying, you are rebuilding yourself from fire. Let's end this section with a truth few will ever tell you. No one is coming to save you. No mentor. No guru. No opportunity. No miracle. Only you. Facing your demons, choosing discipline over comfort, and executing when no one claps. If you build the rituals, you will build the man, and the world doesn't give power to the weak. It gives it to the one who forged himself in silence. You are the ritual. You are the law. You are the fire. So now you've buried the old you. You've won the war within. You've forged new rituals in blood and silence. But this final section is not about death. It's not about pain. It's about power, because now, you rise, and not just rise. You rise to rule. To dominate. To conquer. To lead, because a man who has died and rebuilt himself cannot be stopped. He is immune to opinions. He is allergic to excuses. He is fueled by purpose. You are not who you used to be, you are who you chose to become. But listen very closely. The new you has a responsibility. This isn't just about having a better life. This is about becoming a force of gravity. Point 1, that pulls others up. Point 1, that breaks the curse in your family. Point 1, that leads by presence, not performance, because power is not about how loud you speak. It's about how loud your life speaks when you say nothing. Let's go deeper. The world will try to remind you of your old self. They'll say, you've changed. You think you're better. Who do you think you are? And your answer must be, exactly. Because when you shift your identity, why, you automatically offend those who never had the courage to change. But that's not your problem. That's their prison. You are not here to be understood. You are here to be unforgettable. And here's a brutal truth: if you don't burn the backup plan, if you don't kill the old name, if you don't delete the contacts that feed your weakness, you'll go back. You'll relapse. You'll forget who you became. There is no transformation without isolation. Sometimes God, or the universe, or just raw life, will take everything from you, just to rebuild you into something undeniable. If it feels like you've been abandoned, maybe you've actually been chosen to rise in the dark, alone, silent, but powerful. Let me say something to the part of you that still doubts. Your past is not stronger than your future. Your trauma is not your identity, and your silence will one day be someone else's salvation, but only if you finish becoming. Because right now, the universe is watching to see if you'll go all in, or just talk about it. Now ask yourself, what would my life look like if I committed to this new identity for the next 1,000 days? Not 3 days, not until it gets uncomfortable, not until it hurts, but 1,000 days of war. 1,000 mornings of rising before the world. 1,000 days of rejecting comfort. 1,000 days of saying no to the old version. 1,000 days of choosing your future self, even when no one claps, because on the 1,001st day, you're unrecognizable, unshakable, unstoppable. The world doesn't need more perfect people. It needs more reborn warriors, people like you, who took their pain and turned it into fire, people who walked through hell and came back with blueprints, people who let their old self die and made resurrection their identity. So here's the final challenge: become the proof. Be the one they point to and say, he shouldn't have made it, but he did. She was done, but she rose. They counted him out, but he kept showing up. Let your transformation be so loud that the world is forced to listen. Now take one breath. Inhale the fear, exhale the doubt, feel your new identity settle into your bones, and now, look in the mirror. No one's coming, you are the one. The fire, the force, the future. This is your call to rise, and if you're ready, if you truly feel that your old self is dead and gone, like this video. Comment below with your personal rebirth mantra, something original, something powerful, something you'll live by. Turn on notifications because this channel is not entertainment, it's your daily resurrection. This is motivation blessing, and you were never meant to stay the same.